This is fascinating. Huh. Guess they're trying something new. Wait. Hello? I feel like. Hold on. Turn on. How do I check? Because it looks like my mic is low. Uh, where's. Hello? Can, how does my audio quality sound? I can't tell how my audio quality sounds. This is gonna get some. This is gonna take some getting used to. So YouTube has a new way of doing their live shows. So, huh, fascinating. Oh well, I'll just have to learn to get used to it, and then we will go from there. This will be a sort of test run. Anyway, oh hey Robert Carbran, good job on getting the job, bro. Okay, so this isn't gonna be like a regular video. Well, in the sense of this channel, this is a regular video because the purpose of Tony Talks is basically to talk about topics outside of the realms of media. You know, whether it's sports, religion, politics, or just my daily life. Um, so here's the thing. Last night, I got into this whole existential, I don't know the word for it. I guess train of thought. I got into this whole existential train of thought. And what I thought to myself, really like buckled down and thought to myself, was that although I've lived on this world for what is almost 25 years, I'll actually be 25 in 2 weeks. Jesus, where did the time go? Where did the time go? I'm going to be 25 in 2 weeks. I've lived on this earth for a quarter of a century. It's amazing, you know. Don't even think about it until it finally comes. You know, you always say to yourself when you were younger, I can't picture this and this happening, but here we are, you know, taking another step towards adulthood. I think it's when you're 25 that they consider you a full-fledged adult, which is cool, I guess. But to the topic at hand, why is this video called What is Love? Baby Don't Hurt Me? Because what I was thinking last night was I don't think I ever truly loved somebody in a romantic way. I really sat and thought. I've liked so many girls in my life. I've given my heart to so many girls in my life, only for them to crush it. Now, is it their fault? Most of the time, no, it was not their fault. I just put too much expectation onto them. I put all of my eggs in one basket. I assumed that they felt the same way when I should never assume what another person feels. Just because I felt a certain way does not mean that that person feels the same way. But of course, I was young. I didn't really think about it in that sense. I never really sat back and thought about my own actions and how people saw my actions, or really just sit back and think about how other people felt. I was very one tracked minded and self absorbed in a sense. Okay, maybe not self absorbed, but I was only thinking about myself. You know, I never really considered someone else's feelings when it came to love. I just assumed things about how people felt. Well, instead of actually being honest with what I was observing. And if I actually sat down and paid attention and observed how they felt, I could tell immediately where it was going and what type of relationship we would be bound to have. It was that obvious. It just wasn't obvious to me at the time. It's kind of another case of hindsight, where in hindsight it makes perfect sense. But I don't think I truly ever loved anybody. I either lusted for them or wanted to be with them out of sheer loneliness. And I know maybe that is to some people what love is. It starts off lustful, but then it grows into something more. It evolves in a sense, or it comes out of a place of loneliness where you want companionship, and then it grows into something more. And I can agree with that. I mean, we all have desires. We're all humans. We all want to be with somebody. Nobody wants to be lonely, you know? And then to go on a sidetrack here, the funniest people or the people that seem the most lively are actually the most lonely in this world most of the time. So when you see like happy YouTubers or happy comedians or overzealous people, usually that's a guise to hide the fact that they're lonely and they're in pain. They just can't express it because they realize that there's already so much pain in this world. Why add to it? Why not bring some joy into the world? That's why you get comedians like Robin Williams, who had been battling with depression for so long but never said anything about it because he wanted to make sure that the world was happy. There's already depressing shit in this world. Why add to the depression? Why not bring joy to people's lives? That's the mantra of most comedians, even though they are depressed. Go back to romance now. I really sat back and I thought to myself of all the girls that I liked in my 24 years on this planet. And I said to myself, did I really love them or did I lust for them? Did I just go with them because I was lonely or something like that? The first girlfriend, and I say that like that because I don't consider middle school relationships legit relationships because, we were so young. We didn't really know what the fuck we were doing. And when we say, hey, let's go out, we don't technically go out. It's more like a status symbol in middle school. Oh, so and so's dating so and so. We didn't take it with any sort of weight or seriousness because we were young. Of course, we didn't know the gravity of dating at the time. We just thought it was cool. Oh, I have a girlfriend. But the first girlfriend I ever had, her name was Kaylee. She's a lesbian now, by the way. I thought I'd just give you guys the end of the story, but she's a lesbian now, and apparently she seems to be quite happy with her relationship, and I'm happy for her. We were friends at first. We actually were very friendly with each other. We talked very often. This was back in the seventh grade, and it seemed very nice. I never had romantic feelings towards her, not once. There was this running joke in our friends group that she was in love with a guy named Gerald. He's one of my friends actually, and we would do this whole jokey thing where Kaylee likes Gerald, and we would like kind of make fun of both of them, and we like, when are you guys gonna go out already? And Kaylee and I, we would talk about that stuff and everything. Of course, we all knew it was just a joke, and it's not actually what it is. The way the joke started is because we always saw like Kaylee hanging around Gerald, so we all assumed that she liked Gerald. And then we started talking on the phone a lot. I discovered that she lived in the neighborhood right across from me. I walked out there and I saw her and I was like, "Oh, this is fucking crazy." Um The next day after we found out that we lived next to each other, right? She pulls me aside, like to the side of the street, and she's like, Tony, I want you to know that I never liked Gerald. I never liked him. I liked you. And then she walked away, and guys, I never been that speechless at that point in my life. I did not know what to think. Cuz here's a girl that I did not think about in a romantic sense walking up to me and telling me that she liked me. She's the first girl in my life to do that at this point in time. And I didn't know what to do. I was so lost. I don't even know what the hell I did that day. I don't know what lessons I learned. I don't know what homework was assigned. I was so lost in my thoughts um about what this person I considered a friend. Now all of a sudden the dynamic of our relationship has changed because now I know the truth. And at that time, of course, I didn't know what to do, so I just said, "Fuck it. What harm could it possibly do to actually start dating?" So we did, and we were a very on again, off again relationship. And the reason I don't consider it a true relationship is because we never went out. I don't recall one moment in our relationship where we went to an event together, we went to the movies, or we went to the mall, typical dating things. We did none of those things. We only were dating in the context of like going to school and we see each other in a sense. And again, status symbol. And sometimes I used to think to myself that she only dated me because at the time I was actually one of the most popular kids in the school. This is not to toot my own horn. I was very well known in my school. I was the very exuberant, loud, funny dude. People liked me. I had a very good relationship with a lot of people, and I earned I earned that respect in a multitude of ways. One of which I'm very proud of, was I actually in the sixth grade when I came back to Guam, I asked out the hottest girl in the school. Now I did this for two reasons. One, because I did like her, and two, I knew this would get everybody's attention and it would earn me a lot of street cred. Whether she said yes or no, it didn't matter. I did it. And it was a ballsy move. And when people saw me do that, they're like, okay, well, this kid has some balls. This kid maybe is somebody to pay attention to. And then, the rest is history. Because if you can ask out the hottest girl, not be a wimp about it, hey. Anyway, that's the sidetrack. But yeah, look, but this is actually the start of my whole existential thought of like, did I truly love anybody in my life? Because here we have a girl that walked up to me and told me how she felt, but that's not what was going through my mind prior to her telling me this. I didn't feel love towards her until she said that she liked me. So, was the love genuine or was it manufactured? Was it based off of just trying to make her feel better? Then, I look back at that now and I'm like, the relationship was false in two ways. It was false on both with both parties because here we have a girl that did ask me out, or did tell me she liked me, but it could have been a ploy to kind of gain some notoriety for herself, or it could have been genuine. I can't tell what went through her mind. But also, you have me who didn't feel the same way, but now was forced to feel the same way as to both save face and not to hurt her feelings. And, I also was in the mindset of what the hell? What could I possibly lose? You know, I know she likes me. So being in a relationship, and we were already friends to begin with, I didn't see a problem with it. Little did I know that it would be problematic as it was just an on again, off again relationship, and it led to nothing. It was Probably the most frustrating relationship I have ever been in. But that ended poorly, and I gained nothing from it. And I think back to all the crushes I ever had, too. France was the first girl I ever had a crush on. I liked her since since kindergarten, actually. I always tell this story to people. The first time that I met France, I felt like an angel walked through the door. I remember like when I was in kindergarten and she came through the door because she was like a new student. She joined us like I think midway through the first quarter because she was there's 4 quarters for school, and so first quarter is like the first 3 months, I believe, not 3 months. I think the first 2 months, and then third quarter, all that stuff, bullshit. She came in near the end of the first quarter, and I remember she walked through the door, and she had like the cutest smile, the prettiest hair, lovely eyes. I was hooked. She's nothing again. Now this is not to mock her or anything. She's let herself go over the years. I know it's rich coming from the guy. It's rich coming from this guy. Yeah, I'm gonna point out how someone else let themselves go. Practice what you or not practice what you preach, but yeah, that's pot calling the kettle black. There, that's the phrase I was thinking of. Anywho, but I don't think I truly loved her. I idolized her. I was infatuated by her beauty, but I didn't truly know her as a person. I knew the face that she put on, the front that she put on. Cheerful, ditzy, cute girl. That's the face that I knew her for. Funny enough, I did have the balls to ask her out years later. I asked her out when I was in the 7th grade, same year that I went out with Kaylee. She said yes, and then she said yes, and then the next day she said no. Okay, the fuck. Way to get my hopes up, France. Here's a girl I loved for so many years, or loved for so many years, and then she finally gives me the answer I've been dreaming for, and then the next day says no. Okay, but I never loved her. I was infatuated by her. I was more in love with the idea of her than I was of the person. Because to this very day, I don't know what her true person is. I only know the face that she put on. Nice, cute, ditzy, fun girl. But I know that that was a face. That wasn't what she was actually like. And I never took the time to know what she was actually like. And that would be the case for so many other girls that I'm going to talk about in this video. And then there's Amber. Again, another case of I liked her, but I liked her in a very shallow sense, and I never really knew her as a person. Same with Taylor. Same with Darvina. You know, there was this one girl that one girl I will honestly say that I might have loved. Her name was Facia. I knew this girl inside and out. We were very close friends. We would actually call each other every night, just talk. We would talk for hours and hours about bullshit. We literally talk about nothing. It's just the most pointless shit. But I remember just being so excited to be able to talk to her, you know? The excitement of hearing the phone ring and stuff like that. And keep in mind, she was not the prettiest girl. In fact, a lot of people, there was a running joke when we were kids that she was a man. It's mean when you think of it now. And though she had manly features, I look back and I think about it and I'm like, but she actually looked really cute back in the day. Why did we always tease her about looking like a man? I mean, I didn't see it. even when I was younger, I don't understand why we called her a man. I mean, I know we made fun of her name because Phasia at the time, Austin Powers was popular. There's a character in, I think, the second movie. Her name was Faja. So we would actually call her that, Faja. But she might have been the first, she might have been someone that I might have been able to fall in love with. But it never happened. I just never felt emotionally that way about her. I just felt close to her in a sense, a good friend. You know, I do miss her. She lives on this island, but she has a boyfriend, and I rarely speak to her. We've been so disconnected over the years. I don't know if we have a friendship anymore. That's the sad part about um, when you move away, you move on. Certain people in your life become insignificant, and I became insignificant in her life, and she became insignificant in my life. So we just kind of dropped it. But yeah, that's all in Guam. Now we move to the States, where I also like the plethora of girls, but I like them purely out of infatuation, each and every one of them. Infatuation. Infatuation and loneliness. I always hated when I would hear people complaining about having something that I personally didn't have. Right now, I'm in this, in my opinion, shitty job. I work as a radio sales person for a radio station here in Guam. And I have a coworker. And this coworker is always bitching and moaning to me and like, oh, I hate this job and oh, I'm thinking about leaving and blah, 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 like all that stuff. Yet he's the only person in our sales group that reached his quota and is still getting some solid deals. In fact, he's close to reaching his quota for a second month. Yet here he is. He's always bitching and moaning about how everything is so hard and oh, I don't think I'm gonna make it through. And I'm standing there like, bro, I've not even reached my quota. I'm not even close to reaching my quota. And here you are bitching and moaning about how hard things are for you and like you don't like this job, bro. You're the only one kind of living the easy life. I understand it's hard and everything, but shit, dog, you're bitching about nothing. You're literally doing well. Where's the like? If I was in your position, I would be so optimistic, or at least maybe that's just because that's my nature. I like to be optimistic about things, but the point of me sharing that story or the point of me sharing that is to highlight the fact that I would always be angry when people would bitch about things that they have that I didn't have. A couple of my friends when I was in high school and in college would always bitch and moan to me about how, oh man, my girlfriend's getting on my nerves. Sometimes I wish I could be done with her. I wish I wasn't dating anybody. I wish I was single again. And I'm just sitting there like, hey, douchebag, be grateful you have somebody. Because it sucks to be lonely. It sucks to be single. I should know. And why are you bitching to me? Why are you bitching to me? Of all people, you're gonna bitch to the single guy about how you hate being in your relationship? Are you fucking kidding me? Do that with someone that can actually relate to you, somebody that's in a shitty relationship. Don't bitch and complain and moan to the guy that's desperately trying to find a relationship yet is failing to do so. That doesn't make any sense because I'm not going to relate to you. If anything, it feels like you're rubbing your relationship in my face. Now I know they don't mean to do that. They just want to vent, and I totally see that. But at the same time, it's insulting to somebody like me. Like, really? You're going to bitch and moan about your relationship when I can't even get one? Come on, man. And again, I hold no ill will to these people. I understand why they were doing it. They just needed to vent about the relationship. And I'm a good listener. But I would always tell them all the same thing. Hey, be grateful that you have a girlfriend. Some of us ain't so lucky. Like my best friend Patrick, who I love to death. He's one of the greatest people I've ever met in my life, and I'm so glad that he's still in my life. He would constantly bitch to me about his girlfriends. From Joanna to Elaine to Courtney to his current girlfriend right now, June. God, man, sometimes I just wish I was single again, my man. And keep in mind, this man has not been single for longer than 3 months. The last time he was single for a long period of time was in the 11th grade. The 11th grade. Since then, he's always been in a relationship. Not once did his singleness ever sprout to more than 5 months. This man's always been in a relationship no matter what. But whether he wants to admit it or not, he thrives in a relationship. He is one of those people that kind of needs a relationship to stay motivated about things. But he would bitch and moan about, oh man, it's just I'm so sick and tired of her, and oh man, I can't stand it. Valid points, by the way, that he brings up, but the thing is, he's talking to the wrong guy. Because I would give anything to be in his shoes, where I'm bitching and moaning about having a significant other. Because at least I have a significant other. There are people in this world that are lonely and will never have a significant other. That's heartbreaking. But going back now to the main crux of this, I know I keep going on these side tangents, but it's to highlight a point. I bring up the whole I got jealous of people always saying that they hated being in a relationship because it ties into my relationships when I was in high school or the infatuations that I had in high school. I like the numerous amount of girls from Kelsey to Brittany, um, or another Brittany, Brittany C. We'll just call her Brittany C. Who actually was the person that got me into Facebook, and I thought that she liked me, you know, and I liked her. We would talk. She was the first person I ever talked constantly on Facebook with. We like had long chains of messages. We would just. She reminded me so much of Facia. She replaced Facia in my life as somebody that I can talk to on a daily basis. And I didn't have to do it on the phone anymore. I could do it digitally on Facebook. And I would always look forward to the night tonight so I can talk to her on Facebook again. I would stay on Facebook just so I can wait for her to pop up and we just start chatting away. I loved it. It was, to me at that time, it was a magical feeling and it made me feel special. But again, I don't think I truly loved her. I just loved the attention that she gave me. I love the fact that, somebody was, catering to my basic need for attention, you know. But I didn't really care about her. I just was like, yeah, I like this girl. It felt very shallow. Whether I want to, tell say to my, or try to convince myself otherwise, like Tony, wait a minute, you know, maybe you did like her, you just spent a lot of time with her, you asked her personal questions. But here's the breaking point. When I found out that she started talking to another guy, I dropped her immediately. If I truly cared about this person, she still would have been a friend to me. But no, immediately after I found out she was walking with another dude and they ended up dating, by the way, I gave up on her. I'm like, and this is also after I expressed my feelings. I should have stated that first. I told her I liked her. She told me she only saw me as a friend. And this is that whole thing I mentioned earlier where I only saw my own feelings. Had I paid attention to how this person was talking to me, I might have been able to gauge that she did not, excuse me, she did not feel the same way. So I was so lost in my own feelings, the way I saw her, I did not pay attention to the way that she saw me. Had I paid attention, I would have noticed that. But no, I was so lost and blindsided by the attention and feeling very special. Oh, she must like me because she's talking to me all the time. That's not the case. Just because somebody talks to you a lot doesn't mean that they like you. It just means that they enjoy your company. Then that would be a reoccurring theme for the next 8 years. Because I would assume that because a girl talked to me a lot, that must mean that they might have some feelings to me. But in hindsight, they just enjoyed my friendly nature, not a. They didn't see me as somebody that they could be romantically involved with, and that broke my heart. But yeah, Brittany, she was a good friend, but she never was somebody that I truly cared for, and I don't think she truly cared about me in a romantic sense. Then there's Megan, who may be the biggest heartbreak. Okay, the second biggest heartbreak that I experienced in high school. Because, and going back to the whole thing about I didn't truly love her, the only she's not Adam. Do not call Brittany a cunt, please. She's not. It's not her fault that I saw her that way. See that this is what I'm talking about, Adam. Just because I saw her a certain way does not mean that she saw me that certain way. And just because she was honest about her feelings when I was being honest about mine does not make her a bitch. This is something that I gained like hindsight about when I friend zoned somebody because I realized it's really hard to deny somebody's feelings because you don't want to hurt their feelings. You want to be the nice person. But the truth is, you got to be honest because if you're not, you're just going to be roping them around and you're more of an asshole doing that than to be honest. Brittany was not a cunt at all. I respected her honesty and her boldness to be truthful with me. She could have lied. She could have beat around the bush. She said she doesn't like me. And I had to accept that. Now, when I was in high school, I didn't accept that. I thought the same way you thought. Oh, wow, this girl's such a bitch. She doesn't realize I'm such a great catch. I'm a nice dude. Well, fuck her. Who cares? Like, but the thing is, that shit needs to stop, okay? Yes, you're a nice dude. You're a great guy. You think you're a catch, but that doesn't mean that everybody thinks you're a catch. And just because you're a nice guy does not mean you deserve nice things. You earn the things in this life. Whether you're nice or you're mean, it doesn't matter. So, but she's not that, and please don't call her that. I would never in my life call her that. She is a vital person in my life. She helped mold my life in a better way. It's just that I don't think I truly loved her in the real sense of loving somebody, being devoted to somebody. I was infatuated by the attention and by her cuteness. Anyway, moving to Megan now. Megan was an interesting case, and this is one of those elements where I knew that I didn't truly love this girl. I was just infatuated by her because the whole reason our friendship even started was based off of not a bet, but a promise that I made to Patrick. I told Patrick, okay, here's what I'm going to do starting in 2010, because we were going into the new year. I'm going to find a random girl in one of our classes. I'm going to ask her out. She's going to deny me, and I'm going to be totally unfazed by it. That's exactly my words. That's exactly what I told Patrick. That I would just go out and ask a random girl to go out. She's going to reject me, and that's going to help boost my confidence. How fucking stupid was I? Am I right? Who thinks like that? Who thinks like that? I'm going to go ask out a random girl and get rejected, and that's sure to help me get good with the ladies. No, come on. So that's what I did. I set out to find a girl in our third period, and one of the girls that sat next to me, her name was Megan, and so I'm like, Patrick, that girl. I'm gonna ask that girl out. Okay, it's gonna happen. And we had this project that we had to do. I think we had to like draw something. I don't remember what the project was, but I found my way I found a way to wiggle into her group so that we were together. And so we started talking, and I'm like, now I'm gonna pop the question. I never popped the question. What happened was that we actually became really good friends. We became close. There was one time where there was almost like a, well, not almost like a shooting, but the school was on lockdown because there was a threat called to the school. And we're all like laughing in the classroom, like, "Oh, this is fucking stupid. This isn't even gonna happen." And our teacher's like, "This is life or death, kids. This is serious. Stop laughing about it." But what do you really expect from teenagers at that point in time? Of course, we're gonna laugh about it. So, but this was one of those moments where we actually got very close to each other. And so I would ask her to hang out outside of school, but she would always tell me that she was busy, blah blah blah, all this stuff. And again, had I been paying attention, I would have noticed that this girl doesn't see me as somebody that's a romantic option. She just saw me as a friendly individual. But of course, I was so blindsided by my own feelings that I assumed that because this girl was nice to me and she was talking to me, maybe I do have a chance. So I actually told her that I liked her. She said, "I will see you as a friend." And then I was like, okay. Funny enough, I was bummed, but not super bummed. I was just kind of, eh. And so I thought I was gonna give her the Britney treatment. Um, where basically now that I told her I liked her, okay, now time to move on. And see, if you think like that, that means you never really cared about the person. You never really loved them. You were infatuated by them. You were infatuated by either their beauty or the attention that they gave you. And I was attracted to both. She was a gorgeous woman and she gave me attention. So I was like, okay, well, maybe there could be. But that wasn't true love, or not true. Well, yeah, it wasn't truly love. It was just an infatuation. And there is a difference between love and infatuation. But the difference between her and Brittany is that she actually still wanted to hang out with me, even though I told her that I liked her and everything. And I'm like, this is weird. I'm not used to this, because she actually enjoyed my friendship. And had I not been an asshole to her, and I do think I was kind of an asshole to her because again, I didn't really take her feelings into consideration. Um, I could have been nicer. Our friendship could have lasted a little longer. Because what ended up happening, we still hung out, we were still tight, but I knew that my feelings were not going to subside. So on the last day of school, 2010, going into the senior year, I told her again that I liked her, and she told me again that she only saw me as a friend. And I was like, okay. I gave her a kiss on the cheek and then I walked home. And I felt very content at that point because I just needed to let it out. That's really all I wanted to do. I wanted to let it out of my system. And I did. I let it out and I felt good about myself. I'm like, okay, maybe now that I'm going back to Guam for the summer, I can just, you know, try to. Well, I lost my train of thought there. But at that time, I was actually going back to Guam for the summer to see my grandparents and stuff. And I thought, okay, well, now that I got the summer to myself, I can move on from Megan and find somebody else. She then texts me this very harsh text. So it was so fucking mean. But I understand where it was coming from. Basically, the contention of the text was, look, I don't think you understand, but I only see you as a friend. And if you can't get that through your head, then maybe we shouldn't be friends. And she just kept berating me and berating me in the text. And I was so taken aback. See, I was totally content with the rejection. But then she sent this text and it really beat me down. It crushed my spirit. And I couldn't believe what I was hearing. This was somebody that I respected, I liked, and I felt like she was so cruel. And it really changed my opinion of her, and it destroyed our friendship for a while. And it sucked because, like, in senior year, you want to talk about my life being a romantic comedy. Here's a fine situation of that. In senior year, I kept bumping into her in the most randomest places. One time I drove all the way to another city. No, cities aren't like cities here in Guam where it takes like 5 minutes. No, I drove an hour away to St. Augustine from Jacksonville to go take my senior picture. And on the very day that I was taking my senior picture, guess who showed up? Yeah. And I could not believe it. That's like something you could only see in a fucking romantic comedy. The girl that you have a crush on ends up in the same exact spot on the same exact day. Are you fucking kidding me? And she cut her hair during the summer and she looked fucking beautiful. And my feelings were still there for her. And I'm like, God, this hurts so much. Years later, by the way, we still remain friends and we're still sort of friends. The last time I saw her was before I left to come back to Guam. I made it a point to see her before I left because I do appreciate her friendship. She was a good friend. When I take out the whole romantic element, Megan was a good friend to me. And, she was always a cool girl to talk to. I respected her friendship. I respected her as a person. And, it was so nice that I was able to hang out with her one last time before I came back here. But years later, while I was at IHOP too, this is when I was in college now. Years later, she messaged me saying, I'm sorry. Out of the blue. She just messaged me saying, I'm sorry. And I was kind of confused. I'm like, sorry for what? And then she's like, hey, remember that time back in high school where I sent you that text? That was out of line. And, I felt like a total bitch. I shouldn't have said that. You were such a good guy. You were just trying to be honest, just trying to be yourself. And I just took your feelings and I just threw them away as if they were nothing to me. And I was touched by the apology, although I personally felt like it was unnecessary because I never held it against her. I understood, like years later, with hindsight, I understood why she sent that message. She didn't mean to like hurt my. Well, I think she did mean to hurt my feelings. It's just she was unaware of the impact it would had, and she just wanted to make it clear where she stood or where we stood. Stop asking me out all the time. If she couldn't get it through in a nice way, she had to do it in a blunt way. This was the only way I would get it through my head that this will never happen. So at that point in time, I understand why she did it. And it did help. So I explained to her that while I did appreciate the apology, it's okay. We were just kids back in the day. We were foolish and stupid. And I understand why she did it. She shouldn't feel guilty about doing it. I kind of left her no choice. And yeah, that's the end of Megan's story. I think the last story well, there's actually three others. I've been talking for 40 minutes about this, but I'll try to go through these quickly. Then there's the story of Joanna. Now, Joanna is a very interesting case because Joanna is an example of me breaking my own rules. I had this one rule in high school, and it's a rule I still stand by today that you never date your best friend's ex. You don't fall in love with them, you don't like them, you don't talk to them behind your friend's back. I broke that rule with Joanna. Joanna was Patrick's ex. Yeah. So Joanna was this quiet, timid Asian girl. And she dated Patrick for like a couple months. And she was like, you want to talk about an anime girl? Joanna is an anime girl. She was that shy girl that would hide behind the wall and stare out and see the guy that she likes and would stalk him and be totally shy. She's basically like that type of anime girl where she's shy and she's not confrontational and she didn't want to express her true feelings. She was that, guys. She was an anime character. Maybe that's one of the reasons why I liked her. In fact, I believe that's one of the reasons why I was infatuated with her. We had a good friendship while she was dating Patrick, and she actually replaced Brittany on Facebook for me. It's almost like a similar thing with Brittany replacing Facia, because now instead of talking to Brittany all the time, I just talk to Joanna, and we would talk night in and night out, constantly talking on Facebook. And then it got to the point where we started talking on text message. And then she broke up, or Patrick broke up with her and stuff, and she was heartbroken about it. And I was kind of the shoulder to cry on. And then we started hanging out and talking and stuff. And while we were doing this, again, the same thing with Brittany, I misread how she felt about me, because she saw me as just a friend, a shoulder to cry on, whereas I saw her as, oh wow, she really likes hanging out with me. Maybe this could be something more. You see how the cycle keeps happening. And this happens a lot with me, where I think just because a girl is nice to me, that must mean she likes me. And that's not the case. Please understand that, guys. Just because somebody is nice to you, just because they talk to you a lot and spend time with you, does not automatically mean that they like you. You got to really read it closely. Read the proximity helps a lot to understand how somebody feels about you. If they're very touchy-feely and very close to you, maybe they might like you. In some cases, that's the truth. But if they are they keep a distance, if they don't really say things that are of a romantic sense, then it's not there. But I confused the infatuation for love again. I thought I loved Joanna. I thought, oh, there could be no other girl than Joanna. It's her, man. Her or bust, you know. And she was my biggest heartbreak, by the way, in high school. And I was head over heels in love with this girl. I mean, just in love. Oh, no, sorry. I was head over heels infatuated with this girl. I found spending time with her intoxicating, and it made me feel less lonely. Did she have a big bust? No, she was Asian. She had a what would be considered almost a flat chest. This was only cemented to me when I found out that she was dating this black guy, and she didn't tell me. In fact, she was ignoring me. I noticed that the tone of our conversations weren't the same. Naturally, not the same. And I knew something was up. And I did something that I don't recommend doing, and I kind of regret it a little bit. I stalked her Facebook, and I looked at her little posts and messages, and I saw that there was this one dude that kept messaging, and they were going back and forth, and then the nature of her own comments to me alluded to the fact that she was attracted to him, and that's when it finally dawned on me. She's with this guy, and she didn't want to tell me. Now, she didn't want to tell me because she knew that I liked her, and she didn't want to hurt my feelings. So it came from a place, it came from what's the word I'm trying to think of? I can't say it came from a nice place, because it's not nice to hide something, but it came from a place of understanding, in the sense that she did not want to hurt my feelings. But in not telling me the truth, she still ended up hurting my feelings. Because it's a catch 22 with a situation like that. The feelings are going to be hurt regardless, whether you tell me or not. Because if you don't tell me and I find out, I'm going to be hurt. But if you tell me, I'm still going to be hurt. But I was more hurt at the fact that she didn't tell me. Because even though I was infatuated with her, I thought we were close enough friends to the point where she could be honest with me. And that's something I told her. As much as I like you, Joanna, just be honest with me, you know? You could tell me anything. I at least thought that was the dynamic of our friendship. That even though I was infatuated with her, we can be honest with each other. Nope, apparently not. And I understand why she did it. She's not a confrontational person. That was her personality. That is in her nature. It fits Joanna. So, and years later, thinking about it, I don't blame her for not telling me. I understand where she was coming from. But at the same time, I just wish she would have told me because it really broke my heart that not only did I lose somebody that I really liked as a chance to be romantically involved with, but I also felt like I lost the trust of a friend. Because I actually thought she was my friend. I thought she was going to tell me. And yeah, it ruined our friendship for a while. And then we became friends for a little bit in college, but it was just the same dynamic where she's just using me because she was lonely, and I was using her because I was lonely, and we gave each other just companionship momentarily. You know, they always say like guys that are in the friend zone is just a dick inside of an emergency box, or in case of emergency, break glass. If they ever, they get lonely, they can always go to their little dick in the box because they know that they got you. They know that, oh, he'll talk to me regardless because I know how to play him. Like I could play that guy like a fiddle, which kind of kind of disgusts me. And when I realized that she was actually using me as a way to not only get information about Patrick, because deep down, even though she dated other guys, she always loved Patrick. And to this day, I think she still loves Patrick. She's never gone over that. But she would use me just to talk about Patrick and also for companionship, like male companionship, without the whole thing of like being sexual. That sucked. That was a dick move. But at the same time, I was using her too, so it was a mutual agreement. But through the heartbreak of Joanna, it led to my first legitimate relationship in high school, which was Caitlyn. The problem with the Caitlyn story is it's another story of infatuation and of loneliness. I started dating Caitlyn the at the exact same time that she, one, broke up with her boyfriend, and two, I was dealing with a heartbreak. We connected on a mutual level of our heartbreaks, but I don't think we truly loved each other. We were just in the moment of this infatuation after losing people that we did think we loved. And through our mutual heartbreak, we found a connection with each other. Now, I did care about Caitlyn, and I actually did get to know her on a personal level. I know how she thinks and works. I actually found out a lot about her past, which was tragic. Um, and maybe you could make an argument that I did love her. I just personally don't think I did. I was more infatuated with her, and she filled the empty hole in my heart after the heartbreak that was Joanna. She was a replacement, basically, but not a genuine romantic partner. It's not somebody that I genuinely loved. She was just at the right place at the right time, honestly. But damn, those were magical moments, and I truly mean it. The magical moments. I still think about the kisses that we shared. They were like, mm, amazing. Um, but her story is very simple. We dated for a while. We were very romantically involved. We never got physical, like sexually. The closest we ever got was just making out. Um, but I had to end the relationship because I was going off to college. And although it did pain me, after a while, I never really thought of Caitlyn again. I moved on. And to me, I just felt like I didn't truly love her. I just kind of went with it. It's similar to what's her name? It's similar to Caitlyn or to Kaylee. I just went with the flow. I sense that maybe this girl does like me. She's giving off these signals. Maybe I just go with it. What the hell? Why the hell not? I was an opportunist, basically. But I did feel something for her, but I don't think I would categorize it as love. I think more, again, it was an infatuation. And, I was feeling lonely at the time, so I just used it for my own advantage. And then in college, it's just the same old story. I liked the girl. I was heavily infatuated with her. But the truth is, she only saw me as a friend. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. In the middle of that story, by the way, there was another girl. Her name was Alana, who she kind of came out of nowhere, to be honest. But she seemed to be into me, and I was happy to have the attention once again. But I didn't truly love her. I just loved the attention that she was giving me, the companionship that she was giving me. And she was my first sexual encounter. I'll never forget it, honestly. It was great. Ruined, though. It was ruined, but before it was ruined, it was great. I actually shared that story in the Lonely Otaku's podcast 2 years ago now, back in 2016. But she was a cool girl. We did go a bit too fast, and honestly, I only saw her in a sexual light. I don't think I ever really connected with her, although she did share with me some deep, dark stories that I will not share here because I still respect this person and I respect her privacy with those stories. She told that to me in confidence, so I'm not going to share that to the internet. But she did share with me these dark stories, but I more or less went in one ear and out the other. And, I did the whole cliche trying to comfort her and stuff. And maybe she even used it as a ploy to get me to be sympathetic towards her, make her seem like a victim, the pity thing. I could be wrong about that, but that is something that we did discuss. But more or less, our relationship was just of a physical nature, and it was a fleeting physical nature because after our little sexual encounter, we never really talked again. At least on the way that we used to. And it really crushed my soul because I'm like, did I do something wrong? Was I bad? Was I that bad? I did not know because like all of a sudden she just stopped talking to me. And that really ate away at my self-esteem. Did not help me whatsoever feel confident about my abilities. So that sucked. And keep in mind that would plague me for the next 5 years. That was in 2012. That happened 2012, 2013. And like that always played in the back of my mind. Like, what did I do wrong? What happened? Did I fuck up? What did I do? To this day, I wish I could talk to her again. I've tried many times to reach out to her because I just honestly at this point I just need closure. If I can just get the closure, I can move on and not think about it anymore. But in the back of my mind, it's nagging in me. And it's like, what happened? What did I do wrong? What could I have done better? What happened? That's it. It's just I'm so lost. I don't know if I'll ever speak to her again. I don't know if I'll ever get that closure. But I don't think of her in a romantic sense. And I haven't thought of her in a romantic sense since the sexual encounter. So I never really loved her. Then there's Andy. Andy probably was my biggest heartbreak in college. And I don't know why, because this girl was bad news. She might be the worst girl I've ever liked. And I mean that honestly. She is the worst girl I've ever liked. Because this girl just slept around at the time that I knew her. Now she's married now, so she might hopefully I hope to God that she's not cheating on her husband. I really hope that she's changed. She's grown from her college ways. She's matured as a person. I pray to God that she's not falling into old habits. I've not spoken to her since our fallout, and that was like 4 years ago. But I hope that she's changed because that guy deserves better. He deserves a, you know, loyal wife. Although, in my opinion, if she did cheat on him, in the back of my mind, I think it's, I think it's something that he deserves because when they were hooking up, when they were being romantically involved, she was in a relationship. And I believe what goes around comes around. So if she cheated on him, I don't think I would feel bad, honestly. I would say, well, you know what? You deserved it. You fucked around with her. What makes you think that she wouldn't fuck around on you? You know, they always say once a hoe, always a hoe. That's a phrase I've heard before. And I wouldn't go so far to say that Andy was a hoe, but she wasn't a good girl, that's for sure. She was a master manipulator, by the way. She would manipulate your emotions. She would know how to play you because she knows you like me. So okay, I'm going to fuck around with you just so I could get my way, but then I'm gonna throw you away once I'm done with you. And that's what she did with me. I was a placeholder in a sense. Basically, the story of Andy is that we worked together. I was not, I wouldn't say immediately attracted, but I did see something in her that was attractive. And I was like, oh yeah, well, this seems like a cool girl. I could probably get behind this. And the thing is, again, she just she wasn't somebody that I loved. She was another placeholder for me because at this time I was feeling lonely because I've been in, I think this is, yeah, this is very close to the Ilana story because we stopped talking in the middle of like 2013, not the middle of 2013, but at the start of 2013. At the beginning of 2013, I started a new job, or it was more or less a position at the Office of Student Involvement. But I started this new position, and she joined in around that same time. So she filled in a spot where I was trying to find a connection with somebody, but I found out that she was dating someone. So I'm like, okay, I'll just stand clear. Then I found out that she fucked around with one of my coworkers, and I'm like, damn, she's one of those girls. That's fucked up. And keep in mind, she did that while she was dating somebody, and that actually caused their friendship or their relationship to fall apart. And I fell under the trap of Joanna again, where she kept talking to me, and I assumed that because she talked to me a lot, that means she liked me. I was her shoulder to cry on again. See how we're doing? It's an endless cycle of the same shit, and I fall into the same traps. I seem to never learn. I seem to never learn because I fell for it again with Andy. Because I thought that because she was talking to me often, and using me as some sort of way to vent out her frustrations and her emotions, I assumed that she liked me. That's not the truth. So in 2014, during the summer, she came back to Orlando from wherever she was coming from. And my God, I was tested like a motherfucker during the summer because she would text me constantly talking about let's hang out and all that stuff. At this time, I actually had a legitimate job this time that paid me. And I'm like, well, I have to see because, I work during the summer, blah, 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 blah. One night, she actually texted and called me in a drunken state. I did not get these messages until the next morning. When I woke up, I saw that I had a bunch of missed messages and phone calls. And I texted Andy, Andy, is everything okay? You were texting me like crazy last night. She's like, oh, yeah, sorry. I was just I got back from partying and I was a little drunk and I was lonely at my house because nobody was around. And I was going to say, hey, come by, come hang out with me. And I knew, had I been awake and I received that message, we would have fucked. I'm not even joking. We would have fucked. That's how vulnerable I was at that moment. If she had called me and I answered and she told me to come over, and then we were in a house by ourselves, we would have fucked. And here's the problem with that. At this time, she was still dating somebody. And I hate cheaters. This is something I've made clear in many videos. So, in being romantic with her, if I actually ended up having sex with her, I would have broken my most cardinal rule. I would be condoning cheating. And I would have hated myself for life because I showed such weakness. I couldn't control myself in a sense. But and at the same time I was thinking to myself, but could you really blame me? Like if somebody offered you that opportunity, why would you turn it down? Because you know that it's not good. But at that time, you're not really thinking logically. I was thinking with my dick, you know. But I was like, I was actually very glad that I was asleep. Because if I was awake and I got those messages, I answered that phone call, I would have done something I would have regretted immensely. And then I was tested a second time. This time, though, we all were in a party and, Andy got drunk. Everybody was drunk except for me because I was the sober man. I decided to be the sober guy because I was going to be the DD, drive Victor home. And for some reason, Victor wanted to stay at their house. He just wanted to sleep there. He's like, I don't want to go home, Tony. Let's just stay here. And I'm like, no, no, Victor, we got to go home. Okay, we can't bother them. This is their house. And then the girls were like, no, you guys can stay. Come on, just stay. And Andy looked at me. He's like, she did this. She just looked at me like, come on, stay for the night. Be nice. Okay. I said okay. Mostly because Andy asked me to stay. If she didn't ask me to stay, we would have left. But because it was Andy, we stayed. So they're preparing the beds and everything. Victor's like taking his clothes off for some reason. He does that when he gets drunk. He just starts throwing his clothes everywhere. And, I'm just like, I didn't know what to feel, man. I was just feeling I didn't know what to make of the situation. Like I was caught between a rock and a hard place because I know for a fact that I am just, I feel things for Andy. Now I'm sleeping in a house with Andy and she decides to sleep next to me. So I'm on this air bed, right? And there's like this futon right next to the air bed. And so she's laying on the futon while I'm laying on the air bed. And she reaches her hand out and she's like, take my hand. And I'm like, oh, okay. We're like holding hands now, right? Holding hands. And she's just like saying to me, is like, I would hold your hand even if I wasn't drunk. I've never been more tempted in my life. I've never been more tempted in my life. I couldn't believe it. This was the moment that I dreamt of. This is what I wanted the whole time. She was literally telling me, Tony, let's do it. Of course, she was drunk at the time, so I don't think it was something that was well, I wouldn't say consensual because she did want it, but she wasn't in the right state of mind, and even I realized that at the time. That's why nothing happened. But I was so tempted, guys. You have no idea. I was so tempted to do something, but thank goodness I didn't. I'm very proud of myself that I didn't do anything. But man, I came so close. Even a kiss. I really wanted to just kiss her. But in the back of my mind, I was just saying to myself, you'll regret this. You'll regret this. You'll regret this. Because she has a boyfriend, Tony. I thought you were better than this. You'll regret this. You're going against your own morals, man. If you cross this line now, there's no going back, Tony. That's exactly what I told myself. And I said, you know what? You're right. If I cross this line now, I could never forgive myself. I would be a hypocrite for life because I would say I don't like people cheating. Then I had sex with somebody that was cheating on their boyfriend. So guess what? My words hold no weight. So yeah, nothing happened. Although I really wanted something to happen. But leading up to the heartbreak, at the start of I think it was my junior year in college, she messaged me one day telling me, hey, guess what, Tony? Me and my boyfriend broke up. And at that moment, I thought to myself, she gave me the green light. She's telling me that she broke up with her boyfriend. Hey, Tony, I'm available. That's what I thought. And I was super stoked because I'm like, yes, now I can actually do it legitimately. Little did I know how foolish I was to think such a thing. And I found that out the night of the party, another party this time. So let's go back a little bit before going to the party. So that very day, I asked her to hang out by the reflection pond, is what it's called at UCF. It's this big fountain where there's this gushing water, and it's a beautiful spot. Probably one of the most beautiful places I've ever been. So I asked her to come there so we could just spend time and shoot the shit and eat some lunch and stuff. And I opened up to her. I said, hey, I like you as more than just a friend. I wanted to open this door now so that we could become something more. And it seemed as though she felt the same way, although I guess I was being a bit vague with my wording because I didn't want to outright say it because I was being a little pussy. But I thought, okay, well, maybe I made my point clear, right? And then I'm going to be at this party and, things are just going to get it on. You know what I'm saying? This is actually going to lead to something, Tony. This might be your chance. Then I get to the party. Everything's fine at first until this other dude shows up with his posse. And I'm like, I've never seen these guys before. Who the fuck are these guys? It's apparently Andy's co-workers at some type of restaurant. And I'm just like, who is this? Who are these guys? And I saw that Andy was hanging around this one of the dudes a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. And that's when it dawned on me. She likes that dude. And then I found out later she fucked that dude while she was dating her boyfriend. And while she was flirting with me. Remember the story I just told you about us spending the night? At that very party, he was there too, and apparently They fucked at that party that I ended up staying at their house at. So she played both of us emotionally. More or less me. She played me emotionally. And keep in mind, she did this while she was dating her boyfriend. I was flabbergasted. At that moment, I was so distraught because here I thought she gave me the greenest light ever. The greenest light I've ever gotten from a girl. She straight up told me she was single. She was available. I read the message as that. I thought this was her way of telling me, hey, doors open. And I got super excited. And in my excitement, I was blinded to her true nature because she's done this before. But because of my infatuation with her, I was so blinded. And then I ended up being heartbroken, stupidly heartbroken. I don't even know why I was so heartbroken because I knew what I was getting myself into, yet I was still heartbroken because I actually thought that this could have been something real. I thought this was genuine. How fucking clueless I was. And then we get, I think, to the last part of my this whole what is love discussion. We get to Lanie. After my heartbreak with Andy happened, I met Lanie. I met Lanie in October of 2014. It was a very subtle relationship because the way it started, I worked at the front desk and she worked at VUCF, Volunteer UCF, as the marketing person. And the way that our friendship started is just we kind of just saw each other often because I was good friends with Todd, my friend Todd. You've seen Todd actually in a bunch of videos. Todd Curry. He was the director of VUCF. Great. He's one of the greatest people I've ever met. I miss that guy to death. He was a great man, a genuinely great man. And I was actually heartbroken when I found out that him and his girlfriend broke up because, like, I thought they were going to get married, honestly. And, you know, the fact that she's moved on and he's still single, it just, to me, it feels like an injustice. A good guy like him should never get the short end of the stick. But that goes to show you, though, you know, in this life, it doesn't matter if you're a good person. It doesn't matter if you're the greatest guy. That doesn't guarantee you happiness. But back to Lanie. Lanie is another fine example of a Joanne, Brittany, not Andy, but a mix of Joanna, Brittany, and Megan. A girl with the best intentions, nice girl. She just, you know, was a good girl, but she never saw me in a romantic light. She just saw me as a friend to talk to. Just fine, you know. We all use people to escape our loneliness. We all use people to fill in some type of gap in our life. I use Lanie to fill in the gap of my loneliness, my yearning to be with somebody physically and emotionally. And she used me as a good friend, you know, that's just what it is. She's actually the reason why I made this video because I actually sat back and thought about this now because, you know, one thing I kept going through my head disillusionally is that, you know, maybe we still have a chance. I was telling myself maybe one day down the line, Lainey will finally open up her eyes and see me for the person that I truly am. Truth be told, that's not the case. She still sees me as the friend. And it pains me, you know? And I don't blame her. I mean, it's not like her fault that I have these feelings for her. You know, she's just trying to be a good friend and, you know, try to be there for me. I think the thing that hurts me the most is that sometimes I would message her and I see that she sees the message. This is kind of why I hate that whole indicator that says, yo, they saw the message. Because now you feel really bad when they don't respond. I wish they just get rid of that so that I could still hang on to the ambiguity that maybe they didn't get the message, But then now the ambiguity is gone because when it says seen by or seen at, or they have like, so we talk on WhatsApp, they have the blue check marks, which means that they saw the message. And the fact that she never once, or she didn't respond to it either immediately or a little afterwards, is a little heartbreaking to me because I thought we are good friends. And, when I talk to her, I feel like we can have a conversation, but we don't. Now, is this in her nature? Yes, it's in her nature. But it's something that always irritated me because, when someone messages me, I don't ignore the message. I reply immediately. I talk. And she's just another case of somebody that I don't think I truly loved her. I love what she gave me. She gave me attention. She helped me with my loneliness. She gave me somebody to talk to, kind of like almost a therapist sense, because when you're lonely, what you really want is companionship. It doesn't matter who it is sometimes. It could be anybody. Hell, I think I wouldn't say the most regrettable thing, but something that I kind of feel really bad about is I actually fell in love. Well, okay, I keep saying I fell in love, but the truth is I didn't fall in love. I was really into one of my subscribers. I won't say her name just to protect her, but I did fall for one of my subscribers. But I fell for her because she gave me attention. She kept messaging me and talking to me and all this stuff. And the thing is that I didn't truly know this person. She was just a voice on a monitor half of the time, or a voice in the chat. I never really got to know her deeply. I never had formed a connection or bond. It was more of a, yeah, I would almost say that I am kind of an attention whore. I won't deny it. There's some truth to that. I just enjoy getting attention. And sometimes that's what people are sometimes. You're just an attention whore. I am not comfortable. What's the word? I'm confident enough to admit that I crave attention. I'm not going to deny it. I'm confident in who I am to admit my faults. To admit your faults is not a bad thing. It helps you grow. But back to the subscriber thing, like that shouldn't have happened. But it happened because she came just at a time where I was feeling really empty, really lonely. Lanie went off to Chicago at this time. I told her that I liked her, but she didn't feel the same way. So they left this gap in my life where I wanted to be with somebody, but I had nobody to be with. And then in came this subscriber, and we got close, closer than even I expected. I thought it was just going to be just a casual thing. We say hi and blah, blah, that's it. But, what was just typical chats on Twitter led to typical chats on Facebook, or actually what typical chats on Twitter led to Skype calls, led to typical chats on Facebook. And, I felt as though that I loved this person. But again, it wasn't really love. It was just an infatuation with the fact that this person was giving me attention, saving me from my loneliness in a sense. And that made me feel good. But the thing is, it's fleeting. And, she was young. And I felt like I was taken away from her having relationships with people that are in her area. So, point being, she actually did end up breaking my heart, by the way. We had a conversation, and she told me that there was this one dude that told her that she liked him, and I was like, oh. And this actually happened the night of of me coming back from the Batman v Superman premiere. So not only did I see a shitty movie, but I also got my heart broken. And she's a sweet girl. She's probably one of the sweetest girls I've ever met. Um, but yeah, it's just that relationship shouldn't have happened. My feelings should not have existed for this person. It just ended up happening due to my loneliness. I let my loneliness get the better of me at that time. That's the truth. Now, could I have fallen in love with her? Probably, but I doubt it. It just would have been something of a like a physical, like something. How do I describe this? Hard to describe this. It's the same thing actually with Lanie, where when we talk, the feelings rush back, but when we don't talk, I don't feel anything. You know, yeah, sometimes I would think about the person, but it was more of a, again, it's just purely loneliness. I'm only thinking about her because I miss talking. I miss the feelings that she gave me when she would talk to me, you know? But I don't think I truly loved them. I don't think I loved either of them, Lainey or this subscriber. They were just placeholders for me, people that gave me attention and made me not feel so lonely anymore. But I never was devoted to them. I thought maybe if I gave them gifts or something like that, maybe that shows my love. But the thing is, it's just a way for me to gain favor with them, to make them think, oh, this guy really cares about me. But the truth is, that's not how you truly show that you care about somebody, in my opinion. There are more subtle ways that you can show that you care about somebody. Anywho, so yeah, that was really what was going through my mind. I was just reflecting about all these girls that I've loved over the years. And I really just sat down and dissected, did I truly love them? Or was I just infatuated with them? Are these people that I can truly say that I could be romantically involved in? Or am I just lying to myself? Because I actually thought to myself, if I actually dated Lainey, what would happen? Would we be closer? Or is it just a lie that I'm telling myself? That's the dilemma that I face. And the truth is, guys, I'm still lonely. I still think about all of my past relationships and how I yearn to be back in them. But I yearn for them not because I miss the person, um, because I miss the person. I more or less miss the feeling the person gave me. And I bring this up because that feeling was brought up with various girls. They were just placeholders. Brittany was no different from Joanna, was no different from Caitlyn, no different than Alana, no different from Andy, no different from Lanie, no different from that subscriber. They all just played the same role. So I asked myself, did I truly love these women, or were they just people that filled in a gap? They were just, it was like a factory line, one girl after the next. It didn't matter who the girl was. I just needed a girl. That's what I was, I was just what I was asking myself. Did I truly love these people? And the answer is no, I didn't. I was infatuated with their beauty. I was intoxicated with the attention they gave me. And I was basically using them to fill my own sense of worthlessness and emptiness. I used them to make me feel better about myself. And to me, that's just not love. As someone that considers himself a hopeless romantic, I don't think it's very romantic when you use people. In fact, I don't even think that I can call myself a hopeless romantic. In fact, sometimes I just think that I'm an asshole. I hide behind this nice guy persona, but the truth is, I'm just lonely and I just want your attention. And yeah, I'm kind of a prick now that I think about it. By the way, Stalking Fan 15, I'm not sharing any personal detail about that subscriber. I want to keep that very vague to protect her identity. It doesn't matter the details. What matters is that my relationship with that subscriber should not have happened. It should have been strictly platonic. The fact that it even went down a romantic path, I'm not ashamed of it, but I should have been better. I should have been a better person. I was in that moment. I really showed my weakness because I was so lonely. I was in a bad spot at that time. That keep in mind when I fell in love, or not. I keep saying fell in love. When I started liking this subscriber, this came at a time where I didn't have a job still. My YouTube channel was suffering. YouTube was cracking down on a lot of subscriber, or on we were dealing with that whole subscriber debacle where we were losing subscribers. So I kept losing subscribers. There was that whole thing with Chibi where he almost got his channel terminated. It was just a bad time in YouTube. It was a bad time in my personal life. I didn't have a job. I felt very worthless because I felt like my channel wasn't growing at the rate that I wanted it to grow. So she came at a time where I was very vulnerable. And through my vulnerability, when I found somebody that I can open up with and be um, honest with, someone that gave me a shoulder to cry on, in a sense, that's what made me fall in love, or damn it, not fall in love. That's what made me become attracted to her. You know, do you think people are better off alone? Some people are. I agree. Some people are better off alone, but I don't think people are better off alone. We do better when we're with other people, in my personal opinion. Some of my best work comes from when I collaborate with others, when I'm able to bounce off of others. BCG Rumble is still one of the things I'm most proudest on my channel because it was something that Ben and I worked on together. It was a collaborative effort. Tony, do you think that any of the girls noticed that you didn't actually love them? I don't think they did because they themselves never loved me. They just saw me as a friend. So, of course, they never saw love in a sense. Oh, okay, but can you at least tell me if the person was a teenager? Why do you need to get into such details? Like, are you trying to say that I did something illegal? Because again, we didn't really do anything. There, no nasty pictures, no talking dirty. Our relationship was as innocent as it comes. Like if ever I'll give you an example of like a conversation we would have. I would say something silly. She would say like, haha, lol, or something like that. We would just go back and forth like that. And we had like little inside jokes and running around and we would talk about some anime. Um, but it never got weird. If that makes you feel comfortable, stalking fan, because I'm not one of those people that just like, oh, send me some nude pics, yeah. I'm not like that. I'm not. Keep in mind too, the year that this happened, when I was talking to the subscriber, was also the same year that a lot of YouTubers got exposed for either dating or being explicit with their subscribers. Like I remember there was this whole debacle where one of the big YouTubers asked like underage girls to send them nude pics, and they actually did this. Like these are legit pedophiles and stuff. And I was thinking in the back of my head, like, am I like them? Oh God, I hope not. Truth be told, I'm not like them. I'm nothing like them. The relationship that I had with my subscriber was completely innocent. It never ever went overboard like that. So I'm just asking if I could talk to the person. No, I'm just asking if I could talk to the person. If you could talk to the person, no, you can't talk to them. So, P.S. I'm 17. Or are you asking like if you were talking to a YouTuber that was like someone my age but you're 17? Is that what you're getting at? Like I'm confused by what you're asking me there, stalking fan. Uh you wouldn't trap any of these girls in a room with the three. No, Adam, I wouldn't do that. Although I don't know why you would take it to a comedic route. But anyway, yeah, that's just something I wanted to get off my chest. I was really thinking about this today. Actually, I was thinking about it yesterday. It's 7 in the morning here in Guam, and I was thinking about this topic yesterday about like what does it mean to truly love somebody? Have I truly ever loved anybody? And if I'm to be honest, I don't think I ever truly loved anybody. It's kind of sad. I thought I loved these girls. Truth is, I don't think I ever did. I don't think I loved any of them. I loved what they symbolized. I loved what they offered me. They offered me an escape from my loneliness. They offered me someone that can give me attention, but they never offered me someone that I could be devoted to. I don't think I was devoted to any of these girls. I could have replaced either and I could have replaced either one of them. I know that's a dick thing to say, but that's the truth. They all were just placeholders. Each one of them. The only one that I know for a fact that could not be a placeholder was Fascia. Because the thing is, it wasn't even romantic. We were just really good friends. It could have been something romantic, and sometimes I think to myself whether or not she liked me, and I just didn't notice. That always like hit me in the back of my head. Like, did this girl actually like me, and she just never told me all these years? I don't know. Hey Tony, your experiences are important and valid, and through meeting these girls, you've grown to understand yourself better. That is true. Thank you, Nessa. Funny enough, Nessa, uh, funny you're here. So I don't know. Is it okay if I share our story? Okay, it's not anything weird, but Nessa, do you mind if I share our story a little bit in this chat? Because you actually do play a part in this story in a sense. Oh, go for it. Okay. Now, so there's somebody in the comment section. Her name is Nessa Boo. Uh, really awesome girl. Funny enough, Nessa Nessa is the subscriber, isn't she? No, no, no. Nessa actually, me and her purely platonic, and we're really good friends. And Nessa actually came at a time where I was feeling that same feeling of emptiness. See, what happened was is that the subscriber that I actually was into, um, we had a falling out for a second time where I explained to her that I still had feelings for her, but she told me that she didn't have feelings for me anymore. So she became that girl. We used to talk about a lot that I had these people that I called that girl, where, you know, they would always tell me, "Oh, you're such a nice dude, you're going to find that right one, but I just only think of you as a friend." she ended up becoming the very thing that she herself said that she doesn't understand. She's like, I don't understand why people don't like you. That's what she would tell me. You know, it's like, you're a nice dude, you're a great guy. And then now she does, she finally understand. She understood. And so this was around late October, early November. I had the falling out with that subscriber I romanced, and Nessa, she came out of nowhere. She messaged me on Instagram like, "Oh my god, BCG, what's up?" And then we just started talking and talking and talking and talking. And then me and Nessa became really great friends. But no, I hate to admit this, Nessa. And again, this. I don't mean this in any mean way. But at this time, Nessa was a placeholder once again. She filled the gap of my emptiness because I used to talk to that subscriber I liked all the time. We would talk from morning all the way to night. And then Nessa ended up being that person that I would talk to from the morning all the way to the night. Now, again, strictly platonic. She is happily in a relationship, and I'm very proud for her. She's a great girl. I hope that she gets a better job because she always tells me that she hates her fucking job and people are rude to her. So hopefully you can find that better job, Nessa. But I will say that I'm happy that Nessa came into my life because she helped me through a very vulnerable time, you know, where I felt really shitty. I lost somebody that I thought I loved. Truth be told, she just was there to make me feel better about myself. So I was happy that I got to talk to somebody like Nessa. She made me feel better about myself again. So I do appreciate your friendship, Nessa. I know we don't talk often, even though we now live in the same hemisphere, but I'm very glad that we are still friends and that we talk. You're a delightful person to talk to, and you're a great friend. Someone actually asked about Jen. Jen is also like Nessa. She's just a really good friend. Like I never saw Jen in a romantic way at all. It was strictly platonic between us, and we were always good friends. And similar to Nessa, I always appreciated Jen's friendship, and she's actually the realest person I've ever talked to. In fact, Jen and I used to talk about that subscriber that I liked. Jen was my person to talk to because we both could be honest with each other. We can open up to each other. And I think that's the person I've been missing in my life. Just somebody that I can just be honest and open with without having any sort of emotional attachment on a romantic level. So I don't know if Jen's watching this, but also to Jennifer, thank you for being in my life. You are a great friend. You're a lovely woman, and I hope one day I get to meet you in real life. That'd be great. Are you still pursuing Lanie? No. I've come to the decision that it's finally time to drop her. And if she messages me, I'll message her. I'll talk to her. But as for me messaging her or trying to call her, I think those days are over. I think it's time for me to move on and stop using her as my placeholder because she doesn't feel the same way that I feel about her. She never did. And truthfully, I never really loved her because I'm like a cat. When I see her, I'm instantaneously back in love with her. But when time goes by, I just don't think about her anymore. Is that truly love? I don't think so. That's just an infatuation. It's a fleeting feeling. Anyway, when is BC Gmail coming back? Probably in April. If I save enough money, I have a lot of things I gotta do in April. So, but yeah, that's the love story. That's the how do I want to describe it? The romantic misadventures of Tony Wadley II. That that's the romantic misadventures of Tony Wadley II. I've been a failure at love. I continue to be a failure at love, but I'm hoping to become better. I know I'm not perfect. I know that, I'm weak emotionally. I may not admit this on my other channel, but the truth is, like, I suffer through depression, although I consider it to be fleeting depression because I never stay depressed for too long. I'm depressed momentarily, but then I pick myself back up often. Um, but still, it happens a lot. I find sometimes where I just feel unaccomplished or I feel empty and lonely. I see people with their relationships, people who succeed on YouTube, you know, and I think to myself, like, what am I doing wrong? What am I not doing? How are these people more successful than me? What have I what do I need to do? That's what goes through my mind on a daily basis, guys. When I do the YouTube videos and everything, I love doing the YouTube videos. I really enjoy them. But if you were to ask me, like, back in 2013, where I saw myself in 5 years with my YouTube channel, I imagined more success, just a little bit. I mean, maybe, okay, well, if I'm to be honest, back then, I guess I didn't expect to get as big as I am now. But when I started seeing that I was getting bigger and bigger and bigger, I thought maybe this could be something. Maybe if I just continue to do this and try to work better on my craft, that it could come to something. Maybe I could be one of the big YouTubers. As it stands now, I mean, I don't see that happening. At the rate that I grow, it's very slow. The rate of my videos, the views that I get, it's nothing close to what other people get. No, I may not admit this on my own channel, but I'm jealous of people like Mars Reviews and Animat and Mr. Ender and trying to think of other smaller YouTubers. Sometimes I'm even jealous of Sloan, the female otaku. I'm jealous of all of these people because they found success here on YouTube, whereas I don't think I found the success that I wanted or was looking for. And I've been doing it much longer than all of these people. And yet here I am, and I'm kind of in the back end of YouTube. I never got a video that went higher than 400,000 views. I never had a viral video. I didn't have all these things. It's just, and it killed me inside. I worked so hard on these videos, and they get like 3,000 views. I'm like, oh wow. It's not that I care about fame. It's not about fame. Keep in mind, gorgeous. What I care about is the attention, I guess, in a sense. I feel like I guess I shouldn't feel so entitled to attention, but I feel like, excuse me, you thought I was going to say I was jealous of the asexuality? No, I don't think asexuality is even a thing, in my opinion, but that's my opinion. No, I'm just jealous of their success, and that's a normal human feeling, to be jealous of other people's successes. You know, you just don't let it destroy you. You use it as motivation to get better. And that's what I try to do. When I see these other YouTubers who are succeeding, it challenges me to try to see what I can do to better myself, to actually make better videos. What type of content should I make, in a sense? They challenge me to think outside the box. The Mr. Enders, the Animats, the Mars reviews, the Digibros, Phantom Strider, Sloan the Female Otaku, all these people, you know, they challenge me. They make me want to do better. Yep, that's true. Their videos are more relevant and have more tags. True, true. That's the thing. I never really understood the tagging thing. And as for relevancy, I've never been one to really do relevant topics. And whenever I do relevant topics, usually it's like this or it's for the latest movie. For me, I've always been about content and talking about what's interesting to me or interesting in the community. You know, um, what's the word I'm thinking of? I'm trying to think of the word now. Oh, not the word, but an example. For example, Red Letter Media. They talk about things that are not relevant at all. They do best of the worst. They do review. They do things that most people wouldn't even care to see, yet they get views on them. Why? Because the personalities are rich. Their discussions are great. You know, and the thing is, I don't want to play the game of like spamming people and saying, check out my video and stuff like that. I want to do it in a more natural sense. But of course, doing it naturally doesn't mean you do it successfully. Sometimes you just got to play the game. And my refusal to play said game sometimes will backfire at me, which is fine. I'm okay with that. Anyway, I think I rambled enough here. Thank you guys for listening to me basically vent my frustrations and express my feelings and stuff like that. I feel better now, and hopefully I can become a better person. And I also want to state that each of the girls that I talked about in this video, I don't hate any one of them. Even Andy, I don't hate her. If anything, I thank all of them. They help me realize the kind of person that I am, and they make me want to become a better person now. I appreciated what these girls did for me. I enjoyed it. I held no ill will towards any of them, and I apologize to each of them if I was ever dickish or hard to deal with, because I know that my emotions can get the better of me sometimes. But I thank you guys, each and every one of the girls in my life. You played a significant role into making me the person that I am today. And hopefully now I can learn from my past mistakes. And I can actually try to form some genuine relationships with girls moving on forward, you know, to where I actually care about them instead of trying to cater to my own feelings. So, anyway, thank you guys for watching. I'm gonna try to get my Doki Doki Literature Club video out tomorrow. I was supposed to get it done last night, but I got preoccupied with The Sopranos, so I'll try to do that. And I'm trying to watch this one anime called School Babysitters. Ben's been hounding me about it, so I'll try to get to that. And then I'm gonna review Citrus. And then I'm going to review Pop Team Epic, Ancient Magi's Bride, all those things. So, yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. And I'll see you again soon. Peace.